My dear friends, we American Jews, you and me here at Temple, and watching from afar, alive in 2025, may be the luckiest of all in our people's history. I mean, if you could choose any time or place to live freely and safely over the past 4,000 years as a Jew, there is no doubt that the answer relative to any century prior would be right here and right now. And for all of us who ended up in Memphis, Tennessee, for whatever reason, what a blessing not only to enjoy what others have bequeathed to us. What a privilege and honor it is to help assure the Jewish future for this region as elders pass away and others move away. 50 years since our temple planted roots here on East Massey. Vision 2026, our temple's monumental project to guarantee the vitality of this regional Jewish hub for the next 50 years, is the result of thousands of hours of planning, building, and ongoing fundraising. We still need significant help to close for those listening or watching. But it's only happening because so many of you care enough about Southern Judaism to make it happen. As I begin my 35th High Holy Days with you, I was 8 when it started. Temple's essential role in reaching not hundreds, but thousands of Jewish lives and families throughout the Deep South has never been more pronounced. Simply put, our congregation's existence and your role in it has never mattered more. It is no exaggeration to say, not in 1975, but in 2025, numerically speaking, so goes Temple, so goes the Memphis Jewish community. I won't spend this precious time fixated on the scarcity mindset that can feel inevitable in today's world. But when I look out at this full sanctuary today, and when I walk by our Temple's Early Learning Center, where over 80% of the children are Jewish, I am reminded precisely of the why behind this place and all it welcomes, this priceless gift to the future of the Memphis Jewish community. My enthusiasm is bolstered by our tireless executive director, Mark Gollner, and 2 rabbis with tremendous gifts, both products of the Reform movement. Rabbi Ross Levy possesses pastoral and intellectual gifts beyond his years. Rabbi Leah Sternberg, a 6-year veteran of large congregations, is the latest great addition to our team. Add Eleanor Talley Steinberg as Temple's recently announced cantorial soloist, and you'll want to be here every week. Religious school families will also want to be here on Sunday Fun Days, thanks to TI music director Emily Groff Heilborn and a phenomenal team led by Temple educator Sophie Weiss-Williams, including our new youth director, Carly Ring. And speaking of extraordinary music, on behalf of every Temple member, deepest thanks to Happy Hoffman, the Temple native I've partnered with for 6 years on these High Holy Days. Happy, you are our pride and joy wherever you move hearts around the world. I didn't share this with Happy in co-planning services with her and these extraordinary musicians, but It was singer-songwriter Rosanne Cash, Johnny Cash's daughter, who said this: "Some of the things you push away when you're younger are the things you embrace the tightest as you get older." Let me repeat. Some of the things you push away when you're younger are the things you embrace the tightest as you get older. It's hard to appreciate the all of life at age 13, 23, or 43. Often, it's only 25 or 50 years after high school, college, and professional success when all of the above recede in importance. Among the few important things that stays with you is being Jewish, however you feel it, even if you once pushed it away. Hobbies change, jobs change, schools change, addresses and even digital passwords change, if you can remember them. So what remains constant throughout a person's life? Family, a few close friends, and if you're fortunate, a Jewish identity that deepens and grows through every age and stage of life. A bride-to-be made my day during a premarital counseling session when she said, "Looking back, Rabbi Micah, those Sunday afternoon high school conversations about life and love and Israel and God and what really matters loom much larger now, even if my parents force me to go to your classes after my bat mitzvah." Whether you are the newest temple baby born last week, or the 101-year-old member who stopped by my office last month, Murray, it sure helps when you have a synagogue like this one through every stage of life. This temple is more than an address or space. It represents Judaism's most cherished ideals and values that emanate from the most enduring shared residence for the Jewish people across time and space. The synagogue, where Jews have returned for thousands of years to celebrate and grieve, study and grow, meet and pray, sing and sway, uncover what it means to live a life of mitzvah, and learn how to hang on to our basic humanity during times of chaos and upheaval. I hope you'll find the refurbished restrooms working properly after 50 years of overuse. And I know you look forward to our permanent seating upon an expeditious installation by Kol Nidre. But I also hope everyone understands that Temple's large-scale renewal is not about paint, carpet, or even what was rotting wood above your heads after 50 years of water damage from a leaky roof. It's about more than the millions required for HVAC, ballistic security glass for security, replacing exploding 1976 pipe compressors, and getting a building-wide generator due to all the Memphis power outages. Vision 2026 is about even more than the magnificent mosaic wall you're facing that was never lit or appreciated. Said one temple leader, "This amazing mosaic shows you that sometimes something beautiful is right in front of us and we don't notice until a little light changes everything." But Vision 2026 is about even more than this breathtaking visual. Vision 2026 is about planting the seeds of a Jewish tomorrow that will outlive us all. and creating for future generations what those before us made possible for you and me. The fact is that there really were more Jews in Memphis in 1975 than in 2025. And there would be lots fewer Jews in Memphis today were it not for this inclusive synagogue. The only one in our community who truly deems every child equally and authentically Jewish, even if they have a mom or dad not formally Jewish, but who still raised or are raising now their own Jewish children. These precious children who contribute to our shared Memphis Jewish census, the round number all synagogues and Jewish agencies here use, are considered fully Jewish only because we, Temple Israel and Reform Judaism, say they are. This is a point of pride for me, and I hope it is for you too. However, it is indisputably a fact that in order for a critical mass of Jews to exist in the Deep South and in Memphis decades from now, in existence many wrongly assume is a given, this temple must continue to not just exist, but lead, ledor vador, from generation to generation. Before next Rosh Hashanah Eve, September 11th, 2026, the crown jewel of Vision 2026, our top-tier synagogue preschool, having just celebrated its double high 36th anniversary, will be complete. Top tier across every denomination of Judaism, as my Orthodox rabbinic colleagues have reminded me, by enrolling their own beautiful Jewish children in our ELC. By next fall, we will finally have a state-of-the-art space to match the academic caliber of this gateway to Judaism for Memphis families. Our world needs the Jewish values we emphasize here as much in 2025 as when this sanctuary was first built. Temple's esteemed past president of blessed memory, Kopi Kopald, once shared with me during our weekly breakfasts a tragedy that happened at the 1970s biennial of the Reform movement, around the time our congregation moved from the building at Poplar, Montgomery in Midtown to this East Massey location. Here's what happened, he told me. Then president of the Reform movement, Rabbi Maurice Eisendrath, died suddenly just days before delivering his retirement address. Eisendrath's successor, Rabbi Alex Schindler, got up and delivered his predecessor's message word for word, including these eerily relevant sentences for today. The world needs Judaism, he said. It's decency and menschlichkeit instead of violence. The world needs Judaism's compassion, rachmanut, in the face of blatant cruelty and meanness. The world needs Judaism's optimism and hope in the face of despair. The world needs Judaism's reverence for the life of the mind, its love of learning and passion for justice. The world needs Judaism's toast to life, l'chaim. The world needs Judaism's commitment to set the world aright no matter what. Friends, just before last year's Academy Award nominated movie, The Brutalist, was released, a film about a Hungarian Holocaust survivor and Bauhaus architect, played brilliantly by Adrian Brody. A conversation I had with Vision 2026's lead architect, Sandy Cooper, came back to me. Sandy and I were walking this building, the sanctuary and chapel, the early learning center, religious school, the grounds outside. And I asked Sandy for his impressions. His first comment wasn't about our campus, it was about the people. He said, "It's the people I've met who make this place great." His comment reminded me of what I always tell visitors who come here every week. I say, if you think our campus is beautiful, then you should meet the people who live here. But it's the second thing Sandy said in response to my query about materials and form I wish to emphasize on this first Rosh Hashanah in our renewed sanctuary. Sandy said that the tapestry in the Danziger Chapel and the stunning sanctuary mosaic are exquisite as they are. However, he said, there is a missing element in the chapel, early learning center, and sanctuary. A non-material design component. What is that? I asked. Light, he said. Light. A less known fact about the Torah is that God's first act in Genesis was not creating heavens and earth. The Hebrew original of the first sentence in the Bible is actually a run-on sentence. Best translated, when God began to create the heavens and the earth was unformed and void, ... And God said, let there be light. So God's initial act was creating light out of darkness. And now, 50 years after building this impressive edifice, we have allowed more light to enter, mirroring God's action, first act in the Torah, whether the natural light in the Danziger Chapel or light that closely approximates natural light in here, awashing our eternal ark, menorah, an original mosaic wall in light. Which brings me to one of my favorite stories of all. At the close of a 2-week seminar, the philosopher Alexander Papaderos rose. He moved to the front of the room, and he stood by an open window in Greece. And he turned, and he asked the group before closing his lecture, "Are there any questions?" Silence enveloped the room. 2 weeks with such a brilliant mind had generated a lifetime of questions for the attendees. Yet for now, everyone was quiet. No questions? Papaderos' gaze swept the room. One attendee in the back tentatively raised a hand and asked, "Dr. Papaderos, what is the meaning of life?" Laughter rippled as people began to stir, ready to leave. Papaderos raised his hand, stilling the room. Papaderos looked at the questioner for a long moment, his eyes conveying a silent inquiry about the questioner's seriousness. Seeing the genuine intent, Papaderos said, "I will answer your question." And from his hip pocket, he produced his wallet, from which he extracted a tiny round mirror like this, roughly the size of a quarter. Papaderos then shared, as a small child during World War II, my family was very poor, living in a remote village. And one day, I found the shattered remnants of a mirror on the road from a Nazi motorcycle that had crashed there. I tried to reassemble the pieces of the mirror, but I couldn't, so I kept only the largest fragment, this one, and I smoothed it into a circle by rubbing it on a stone. I began playing with it, fascinated by its ability to reflect light into dark spaces where the sun never reached, deep holes, crevices, dark closets. It became a game for me to direct light into the most inaccessible places I could find. And I held on to this small mirror, and throughout my childhood, I would take it out of my wallet during idle moments, continuing the challenge of the game. But as I matured, I realized this was more than just a child's game. It was a metaphor for how I could and should live my entire life. You see, I understand that I am not the light, nor the source, but light, truth, compassion, kindness, knowledge exists. But the light of goodness will only illuminate in dark places and dark times if I reflect it. We are all fragments of a mirror whose complete design and form we do not know. Nevertheless, with what each of us have, we can reflect light into the dark places, even during the darkest times. Papadero said, this is what we're all about. This is the meaning of my life. My dear temple friends, life's purpose is to reflect light. And that is the guiding idea behind our architect's vision as we embark on the next 50 years in a dark and fragile time for our nation, Israel, and world. Our Jewish mission remains the same on this New Year's Day in 2025, 5786, as when this sanctuary was first dedicated in 1975, 5736. The mission is to bring more light into the lives of every place, person, and every corner of Memphis we encounter. Since my own father's death almost 2 decades ago, before I recite Shema at bedtime, I often review each day and I ask myself, did what I do today as a father, husband, son, rabbi, friend, would my actions and words have made my dad proud? I've added an additional question ever since that walk around this magnificent campus with lead architect Sandy Cooper, a question I urge you all to consider at the end of each day on this first day of the Jewish New Year in our renewed sacred spaces. And that question is this: did what I say or do today bring more light into the lives of others in my small corner of this world? Or to put it differently, did I embrace Judaism's message and the message of our renewed spiritual home here at Temple Israel, that no matter what the darkness surrounding us, we can and we must become reflectors of God's light. Ken Yehi Ratzon, so may we all become. Amen.